They said he was the most loyal employee Jackson ever had. 3 years. Never missed a shift, never complained, and yet here he was in the kitchen at 1:47 a.m. alone, sleeves rolled up, stirring a pot that shouldn't exist. Jackson watched from the shadows, dressed in second-hand clothes that smelled like bleach and regret. He hadn't worn shoes this cheap since the year he started selling coffee from a cart. But tonight, none of that mattered. The chef was preparing full meals, not leftovers. Fresh vegetables, premium beef, bread. That came in on the morning truck. He moved with reverence like a priest in a ritual, dicing, seasoning, plating. He wasn't rushing. He wasn't hiding. He was intentional. Then the back door creaked open. The chef lifted the trays, enough food for 30 people, and walked into the alley like a man on a mission. Jackson didn't move. He had built an empire on trust and numbers, but tonight both were failing him. Was David stealing from him, or was something far more complicated unfolding in the dark? The numbers didn't lie. That's what Jackson had always told himself. He stared at the Riverside CAF's monthly report. Red lines, sharp drops, bleeding profit, 8 months of slow decline. Yet the invoices balanced. The labor costs were steady. Inventory matched. No theft reports. No staff turnover. On paper, it was perfect. Too perfect. He picked up the phone, called Sarah, the manager. Anything strange lately? She hesitated. No, just slower foot traffic maybe. Jackson ended the call without saying goodbye. This cafe wasn't just another branch. It was the first one. The place where he used to sweep floors himself, charm customers with free samples, and believe that coffee could change a neighborhood. Now it was slipping through his fingers. He leaned back in his chair, the skyline blinking through the glass like distant warnings. Why this store? Why now? And why did something feel wrong? He read the report again. Nothing out of place. No mistakes. And yet his gut twisted like a screw tightening. A thought rose uninvited. What if someone is destroying this place from the inside? The silence in the office grew heavy. He stood, walked to the coat rack, and for the first time in 15 years, he didn't reach for the tailored jacket. He grabbed a thrift store hoodie instead. If he couldn't trust the numbers, he'd trust his own eyes. Tomorrow night, Jackson Sterling would stop being CEO. He'd become Mike, dishwasher, and he was going in. He hadn't looked this unpolished in years. Jackson studied his reflection under the harsh light of his private restroom. The scruff on his jawline was uneven, coarse. His once crisp voice now softened with a borrowed Bronx draw. He'd spent days practicing that shift in tone, dropping syllables, shortening vowels, erasing the boardroom from his throat. The thrift store hoodie smelled faintly of mothballs and someone else's life. He ran a hand over his face and whispered the name again. Mike. He'd filled out the fake application himself. Construction background, short-term gigs, a man who needed work but didn't ask questions. For a moment, he closed his eyes. The memory came fast. Him, at 23, standing behind a cart in the dead of winter, pouring burnt coffee into styrofoam cups, fingers cracked from cold, shoes soaked. A customer once tipped him with gloves. That was the first time he ever cried from kindness. He opened his eyes. That was the beginning, he murmured. Now he was returning to it.